Yes, folks, I have returned. The Dark Night of the Right is back. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being patient with us as our young experiment is still in development and continues to roll out new content over the next month. Yes, folks, I have returned. The Dark Night of the Right has returned. And I've come back at a time when our country is in serious trouble. You know, I know there's a lot to get to in the news, and we're going to get back to that in a little bit, but for now, I just want to share a story. I want to share a story with you folks. It is the story of who we are. It is the story of what we believe. It is a story of how ordinary folks joined a historic movement to make America great again. Yes, folks, that's the story I want to share with you tonight. March 11th, 2016. A day I'll never forget. It was the day my grandmother, who so wanted to see my generation thrive, and you know, before she was dying, she said that she would vote for anyone, but that nasty woman, crooked Hillary Clinton. Oh boy, she's crooked, folks. She was crooked as a $3 bill. Thank God we dodged that bullet. But it was on that day, despite all the sadness, I joined a movement. It was a movement that would change the course of history and hopefully save our great generation from the grasp of an evil and intolerant leftist ideology. And little did I know at the time, but on that day, folks, I saw the future president of the United States right here in my hometown of St. Louis. And on that day, folks, he spoke directly to the people. His people. Us. He spoke directly to the ordinary citizens of the United States. And on that day, ladies and gentlemen, I knew I was all in. And on that day, ladies and gentlemen, I knew in my heart that he was going to win. I knew from that day on, from March 11th, 2016, all the way up until the November election. And I never wavered. Sure, times got tough. There were tough times during the campaign, but I never wavered in my support. And you know what? I just knew that he was going to win. That he was going to win for us. You see, folks, when I put on the Brooks Brothers suit with the American flag lapel, I know in my heart that I am defending the flag of the United States of America. I know in my heart that I'm doing my part in the struggle for the future of our great nation. The fate of our nation is at stake, and I will not stand idly by and watch our great generation surrender and bow down to the globalists, elites, and the corrupt politicians they hold so tightly in their pockets. They have collectively ruled our nation while our factories were shuttered, while our manufacturing was outsourced to a foreign nation, while our auto industry just decimated by trade deals drafted in secret behind our backs. They ruled over 2 wars that cost our country, and I love the military. Folks, I love the military, and yes, when I was young, I was naive. And I supported the war in Iraq. It was one of the biggest mistakes I ever made. Looking back on it, it really was. But I was young and naive, and I was not yet awake. But they ruled over 2 wars that cost our country. We spent $2 trillion, folks. $2 trillion in Iraq. We lost, we lost thousands of lives. Thousands. I mean, thousands of our country's finest gave their lives in Iraq. Gave their lives. The ultimate sacrifice. Thousands. We lost thousands of lives. We have thousands upon thousands of wounded soldiers all across our great nation. We have thousands of them, thousands of wounded soldiers who fought valiantly for our freedom and paid for it with their own blood. Thousands. All for what? For what? At what cost? At what point was it even necessary? I mean, thousands of wounded soldiers, thousands of lives lost. For what? I mean, all this is true, folks. I mean, yes, our world is a screwed up place. And yes, our government is corrupt. Beyond belief. Beyond belief. It's corrupt. But we, the people, collectively ignited a fire in the heart of America. A movement the likes of which our country has never seen before. A movement that began, folks, with the now infamous escalator ride down to the lobby of Trump Tower. Donald J. Trump. Donald Trump, a man who no one respected, a man who no one took seriously, a man who no one ever gave a chance. All of the haters, all of them said it couldn't be done. They said it couldn't be done. Only they were wrong. They were very, very wrong, folks. And now, a new and refreshing political movement takes a hold in our great nation. Let this one message be heard loud and clear throughout our great land, from sea to shining sea, that the forgotten men and women of this country are forgotten no more. And therefore I pledge to each and every forgotten American out there, especially our screwed up millennial generation that has gotten off track through little fault of our own, that I will be your voice. And to those of my fellow Americans who are hurting and worried, I want you to know that I have heard your uneasiness, your uncertainty as to what the future of our country might hold for us. I have heard the worries that we all share, all of us. How for the first time in the history of our great generation and our great nation, that our parents' generation will have been better off than our own. Our parents' generation will be better off than our own millennial generation. And that's sad. That's sad, folks. I understand the divisions that we have in our generation. These are divisive times, and it's an uncertain future for all of us. The truth of the matter is, folks, the vast majority of our great generation was hit so hard by the Great Recession. And folks, the vast majority of our millennial generation never fully recovered. You had politicians, you had the globalists. I'd hate to tell you this, folks, but it was the globalists and the bankers, along with the corrupt politicians in both the Bush and Obama administrations. Yes, both of them. The Bush and Obama administrations that selfishly and irresponsibly decided to leverage the future of our generation in favor of bailing out Wall Street, their multinational, multi-billion-dollar corporations, and the globalists, in order to ensure that their multi-million-dollar pensions and their bonuses got paid to them in full. So as a generation, yes, we are being screwed over royally. But it is up to us, folks. It's up to us. And it's up to our bold millennial generation and those of us like me who are willing to fight for a better future, to speak up. For far too long have us millennials backed down. Have we, we've backed down. We've put up for too long with these safe spaces and these social justice warrior nonsense, and watched in horror as our college campuses were transformed before our eyes into some horrific and horrible communist indoctrination camp where free speech is banished and where free thought is socially unforgivable. Socially unforgivable. You can't have free thought, you can't have free speech. Well, I say to you that I stand for our country, that I stand for our generation, and the many voices that I've heard in saying no more. We are a fighting generation. We will not give up. We will never give in. And we will not be the generation that bowed down and surrendered to the globalists. No, my friends, we will be remembered as the generation that fought to take our country back. The generation that stood up for the freedom and the sovereignty of the United States. We are the movement that, despite all odds, when everyone said it couldn't be done, when all of the haters out there said that we were finished, well, folks, we showed the haters, in all their arrogance that blinds them to the truth, that God blesses you when people mock you and persecute you and lie about you and say all sorts of evil things about you, because you are my followers and you are the light of the world. Let your good deeds shine out for all to see, as we, the people, are unique. We are exceptional. We are the shining city on a hill. And I will continue to fight for the movement that I believe in. I will continue to fight for the country that I believe in. And to any of my fellow Americans out there who are hurting and whose voice needs to be heard, I'm Jim Hoel, and I am your voice. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I will do this again soon. I love you all. You all are great. Keep fighting. Don't give up. Don't back down. And together, we will make America great again. Thank you.
Today, you can hop on the Trump train. You can hop on the Trump train. He's anti-establishment. He is a businessman, and he's so good at negotiating. He makes Democrats vote for him. All we need is you. If you wanna come, you gotta come legally. All the boys for Trump, yell mega. All the girls for Trump, yell mega. All the veterans for Trump, yell mega. Stand up, get the mega, yell mega. Make America great again. Make America great again. Make America great again.